What we're going to talk about now is just a lot of different ways that we can structure our membership site for the delivery, actually the way that we'll deliver, and how the content will be put out there and made available to people. We could do, for example, a monthly newsletter. That can actually be a membership where they're just going to get an email every single month with helpful information, or possibly links to other sites and other content that you have. Maybe you did a video, so in the newsletter there's going to be a link where they can click, or the content can be delivered right there in the newsletter. Industry expert interviews. You can actually build a website around mostly providing kind of like news coverage, really, but within your niche. So depending on your industry, a lot of people would be willing to pay a monthly membership subscription to get, just for interviews with industry leaders, kind of like, with news and newspapers, that kind of thing. They're dealing with things that appeal to everybody, very broad. So what we've got in different niches is where really there's information that people would like, just like with the news, but since it's not big enough, it's just for their little area. Nobody's doing that for free because they can't get paid for the advertising and all that kind of stuff. So what they do, though, is they can provide the same kind of coverage that a news media might do, but they do it as a paid subscription. So expert interview, excellent. You just go there. You know the questions to ask. You ask them, let them answer, let them talk, and then you provide an audio of that, maybe provide even a transcription of it on your site. Training videos and or tutorials. Let me tell you what, video and tutorials, super hot today. If there's something that you know how to do, if there's an application you know how to do, or if there's a technique that no matter what it is, it doesn't even have to be computer related. If there's something that you can do that a video would help out with explaining how to do that, or provide a tutorial, or especially like Photoshop, super duper hot. All kinds of tutorial sites out there. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Some of them have free areas, which is another thing we can do. We can have free areas in our membership site, and then we have a paid area. A lot of times with guitar sites, I see a lot where they have just a free area where they've got a couple of lessons for free. Anybody can watch them. And then when they're ready to move on to the next step, that's a paid subscription. Basic training. In this type of format, maybe let's talk about Forex, for example, foreign exchange. Somebody wants to learn how to trade. You could do day trading. You could do, really anything, become a real estate agent, whatever. And you've got the basic training, the core material that someone would need to be able to learn, start doing that. Granted, with the basic training, there's going to be an end to that, so your retention might be very low. So you would have to come up with something else. Start it out as basic training, and then in a couple of months, maybe you've been able to put together some more advanced things that people would be interested in and staying around. Or you've at least got more of a community involved and figured out some ways that you can keep people, hanging out even after they've learned the basics. Reports and articles, maybe every month you send out a report. It could be, like a stock tip or something, or what's going on in a specific industry, that kind of stuff. Online tools, calculators, tracking, that kind of thing, something that people would be able to use every single month. Let me give you a real good example. One of the things I started using a couple of years ago was an online application that would do invoicing for me. And it's like $7-8 a month. But what it does is it keeps track of customers, and it lets me create an invoice. It keeps track of all the things that I would be selling as a consultant, right? And this is like outside of online things that people are buying at websites that I have. I do consulting, and in that I have to create these invoices. So I found this particular application, and it fit in very well with what I was doing. So it lets me create an invoice, pull the customer, create an invoice, put in consulting and time, and then it sends the invoice out via email, and it also facilitates them paying with PayPal or credit card or check or whatever It takes care of doing all of that. Very nice and handy. Monthly subscription. It's a tool that I started using. Nice thing about it is with stuff like that, if you can get in there something that gets them locked in, kind of like there's statistics or there's data involved in it, and they're not able to, like they would lose that if they were to, like tracking, for example, what I've got up there. If you start using a utility that provides you tracking and gives you statistics and lets you see a whole bunch of information about all your websites, chances are the longer you use that, the longer you're going to keep using it, because it gives you a lot of valuable information that you lose if you cancel. Members only forum, that's totally so easy to do. You just set up your member site, install a forum script. That's just it's a real easy piece of software to put on your server, and all you're essentially doing is letting people interact with one another, but you're facilitating that. And of course we can have other things that we add in with it to keep them involved and keep them active. A Ask the Expert type of membership site, where you're allowing the individual consumer to get direct access to a real industry expert. So you've got somebody that really knows their stuff, and you're allowing people to ask them a question, and they're going to help them out. That's an excellent service. A lot of things for, maybe people couldn't afford to hire a consultant in a certain niche. They couldn't afford to hire a personal guitar trainer to come in, or a fitness trainer, or whatever. But here they're able to ask a question to somebody that really does know, and is going to give them an answer. Recommended resources, totally simple to set up. I have one website in particular where I do this very thing. It's got recommended resources that I use, and the thing is, not only can you have this, like, for example, let's say wholesale distributors. So you might have a membership site for eBay sellers, okay? And in that, you've got a recommended list of wholesale distributors so that they can go and they can buy. That's going to be something of value to them. Not only that, though, you could have an affiliate relationship with some of the resources that you recommend. So whenever somebody clicks the link to go there and make a purchase, you're going to get a commission off of that. Let's talk about basic training. If this is your main product, and in fact it's a good idea to have as a core training the basic for what somebody would need to get involved in your niche. Let's say you were going to set up a real estate membership site. In that, you've got this core training. This is your flagship product. This is like your main bread and butter, if you will. This is what people need, the essential information, if they want to get involved in your market. Because what you're going to have, folks, is when you set this membership site up, you will have all kinds of people, every different level. With a guitar magazine, if I was to go to the bookstore right now, and I was to go to the magazine section and look for a guitar magazine, I could be a 30-year guitar player, and I would still be interested in what is in that magazine. However, I could bring somebody with me, and he walks up, and he's just thinking about starting to play guitar. He could buy that magazine. He would be interested in it, and he would get benefit from the content that's in it, because in magazines they always have stuff for beginners, because you get all levels. Same thing's going to happen with your membership site. You're going to get all levels, and you want to be able to service people that don't have experience in that niche. People that are just, they're interested, they want to find out about it, and you got to have that core essential information for how to get involved. Maybe, if it's guitar playing, you've got some training in there that shows them all the different parts of the guitar, how to tune the guitar, how different sounds are made on the guitar, all that stuff, how to read guitar notes and tablature. But of course, you're going to build on that with some more advanced stuff to keep everybody happy. But you got to have that core stuff in there. When they join, you send them directly to your basic training. And what you can do if you use, I'm going to recommend a script that I use for my membership sites. And it's really, really nice because whenever people sign up, I've got, like for the membership level, what it gives you is a configuration for after they register, what page do you want them to take them to? And then after they log in, what page do you want to take them to? So when they register, you can actually send them directly to your core training. Right? As soon as they register, they get logged in and they go to the core training. That's where they're going to find out, the new stuff that they don't know nothing. But if they are experienced, they're going to see other stuff there. And the next time that they log in, they're going to be taken to a completely different page. You might dump them into just the main members area, for example, or you might dump them into another page where you've got some specials going on, or whatever the new monthly training is that they would be interested in. So you've got a little bit of control there. But as soon as they join, they get plopped into the main members area, your basic training. Remember, what I said a long time ago was that you can use this delivery method even if it is just an ebook that you're selling. So you could create an ebook for beginners, for example, and instead of just they buy it and they get an email that has the download link and then they download a PDF, instead of that, you can have it set up where they're actually subscribing to a members area. Okay, so they sign up for the membership area, they get dropped right into this section where they can download that main core content. And then you get to work on other ways to keep them there. Remember that with a membership site, the individual person is worth more than if it's a one-off sale, because they're going to stay. Most of the time, they're going to stay at least 2 months, even if you had it where it was just one ebook that they get. Most of the time, they're going to stay for the second month because either they forget about it or they don't. There's no rush, so they don't do it. But we want to provide other things that keep them involved and make it necessary for them to, or at least they feel it's necessary to stay. And that is the obtain and retain part about this. We want to discourage cancellations. If you can think of things that they're going to lose, really things that you can provide them that they'll lose if they discontinue their membership. Let me give you an example. On an internet marketing membership site for newbies, okay, it's tailored towards newbies. You have it set up where you are a reseller for a web hosting company. So here's what you do. You say, you sign up for my membership, it's $37 a month. Included in this membership is your very own website and hosting. As long as you're a member, your website is there. Okay, so now Johnny signs up today. He gets his website set up. He uploads it. He starts doing, membership stuff. And maybe in 6 months, he thinks, do I really need this membership anymore? I'm making money online. Not sure that I really need this. He's going to be kind of factoring in some things. And you know what's going to pop into his mind? Oh, my website is through there. So if I cancel, I will have to rebuild my website. I'll have to, move it and do all that, a bunch of hassle stuff. Chances are you're going to pull him out for a few more months before he makes the decision to go ahead and pull the plug. And he may very well never make that decision because of the hassle. Also, if there's something, maybe you do some kind of Forex membership site, okay? And you run a contest, and people get statistics on how good they did, then what's going to happen? They're going to be thinking about, I don't want to lose my stats. So they're going to, perfect example of this, let me tell you, a buddy of mine has a chess membership site. And he does that very thing with the stats. Every time he facilitates a couple of things, really. The membership allows people to play chess games with other people online, and have these like tournaments and matches and all this kind of stuff. Well, it keeps track of everything. So whenever you play somebody, If you win, you get a certain score. And it keeps track of your chess score. You get a little graph of your progress, and it has lessons on there for learning better how to play chess. And I mean, there's some people on there that would scare you. They are so, I mean, I like to play chess, but it is not my life. But these people, I wonder if they ever do anything else but play chess. Seriously. But he has, like, put together such a package that if they cancel their subscription, it's like, whoa, the things that they lose. So that's going to keep them every single month. They got to keep going, because they don't want. They've got community, definitely. They're interacting with one another. It's an excellent model, this chess place. And he actually, I can tell you, what's the URL? Chess.com. Could you believe he got that URL? I had to pay some big bucks for it, I think. But anyhow, a buddy system. If you can group somebody with somebody else, ooh, what's going to happen there? Let me tell you. Let's say Jerry signs up and Matt signs up, and we don't even care what the niche is, okay? That's totally irrelevant. Find something that you can come up with to get people together. And maybe there's some kind of contest, or some kind of like who would get the best results, or make something the more creative, or whatever. Okay, but you team two people together, and you have this thing that's like a 3-month-long project. So now you've got Jerry and Matt, and Jerry on the second month, he's considering dropping out, but he's going to be talking. He's got like an obligation to Matt. Matt's wanting to finish this thing. Matt's wanting to win. And that's going to keep him on, just like with with exercising, with working out. What I found is general about all people. If I say, okay, I'm going to start working out, and I'm going to even if I, let's say I got a membership at a gym, which by the way I do. Okay, so this hits home because it's a very good analogy. Sometimes in the morning, I don't really feel like going. Right? I'm kind of tired. I'm sleepy. I realize this is not something I have to do. I don't feel like going. But I go because my buddy's there waiting for me. Gotta go. Okay? So I'm keeping my membership, even if at sometimes I get discouraged and don't feel like I really want to. I gotta go, because there's people there that are pulling for me. There's people there that, we keep each other going. There will be times that they don't feel like doing it, but I push them. Let's go. We got to do this. And if you're by yourself, it's easier to just cut it off and forget it. So if you can develop some kind of buddy system, like what I just mentioned, that's going to do wonders for your retention. Let's look at some other ways of retention. A storehouse of knowledge. This is just so much stuff that they can't possibly go through it, and they don't want to lose access to it, right? If you were to, like me, I buy books. I buy books like crazy. I don't read half the books that I buy, but I buy tons of them because they're there and I have access to them. Someday I'm going to read them, right? If somebody was to come to my house right now and say, tomorrow at 12 noon, we are coming and we're going to take all of your books, and there's nothing you can do about it, I would be in there reading, right? I would be stressing because I'm going to lose this. Like, I haven't read it. It hasn't been important enough to me up to this point because I have the time. Someday I'll be able to do that. And same thing with your membership site. If you've got so much stuff there, you can actually create this. I'm going to hold on to it just because someday I might have the opportunity to get to this, and I don't want to lose that. And especially if you can tie that in with, having something like a contest or something going on, or stats that they're keeping stats as they progress through something. Definitely keeps the retention very high. Bribery. Give them something for free so they feel guilty. No, nothing else I think I need to say about that. Send them something. and whether it's chocolates in the mail, or you would think, like, right, I just said I didn't need to say anything, but I'm going to. If you're charging $47 to $57 a month, right? If you find out that around the third month you get a lot of people drop off, then right maybe a couple weeks before that cutoff time, you actually spend money and send a box of chocolates to everybody that is at that time period. Okay? And that $10, $15 that you just spent probably going to buy you at least another month. And it's definitely worth it, worth the investment. Active action, surveys, polls, voting. Get these people involved. The more you have community, the more retention you're going to have. It's two equations that work together. Level loyalty. This is another great way. I mentioned this kind of briefly earlier. The way that it works, though, is this. You have somebody sign up as your membership, and they get assigned a certain level because they're a newbie, right? As they accomplish things, you stipulate all these different things that can be done. And as they accomplish things, they get bumped up. My buddy on the chess site, he does this very thing. As they win more games, as they're there, their stats increase or whatever, they get bumped up until they're a grand master based on all this different stuff, and they don't want to lose that. Who would want to work themselves all the way up to a black belt in karate and then have to start back over as a white belt? Nobody, right? Same thing here. You assign levels, you give them what they have to do to attain that, and then it does not have to be tough stuff. But you want it to be stuff that it takes them a while to do, because then they get bumped up to the next level, and they keep going. They get bumped up to the next level. This is something that psychologically it keeps people going because they're climbing. They're not doing the same thing over and over again. They're actually climbing. And once they get up really high, especially if you got like 5 or 6 levels and they get up to the top, they're not going to cancel just because they don't want to lose that and have to start over. Maybe they don't have time for your membership site this month, but there's no way that they're going to cancel just so that they can start over in 2 months. Level loyalty. Use it. One last word on content. Bait them. Something that they'll need to come back frequently to access. Something that preferably doesn't need to be updated. One nice way that you do this is if you can set up a video that they can't download, but maybe a series of videos that teaches them something that's very, very beneficial to them, but they can't download, but they will likely want to come back to that in the future and reevaluate it. Start small on your content. You don't have to have, I know I did say you want more stuff than they can possibly go through, but that's not hard to do. You gotta, you don't want somebody to come into your membership site and download everything that's in there in one evening, and then that's it. There's no reason for them to hang out. They can cancel. Okay? But you don't have to have everything in place because you're not going to get 5,000 members overnight. You could get 500 if you've got pretty good JV relations, but you're not going to get 5,000. And especially if you're starting off as a beginner in this, that's just not going to happen. So develop an idea, write up your game plan, and then start to implement it and work in phases and take small steps as you grow. And you will find actually there's no way for you. The membership sites that fail are the ones that set up everything and then don't do anything and change it. They just add new content. They don't make any changes. Don't even get that in your mind that that's going to happen. You're going to have to set your membership site up, take feedback from people that subscribe, and implement the proper changes and have it grow in the right direction. Coming up next, we're going to start looking at some of the technical stuff as far as actual platforms that you would use to implement to create your site and how you're going to get paid, all that kind of stuff. That's what we'll talk about in the next video. Technical considerations. This is where things are going to get, scary for everybody. No, not really. It's not hard. It's really not. Even if you've never set up a website in your entire life, you can do this. Okay? I don't have tutorials on, installing WordPress because it's not hard, and they have tutorials out there already. Plus, if you go with the hosting company that I use, there's a little button in there you push to install WordPress, and it asks you some questions, and boom, WordPress is installed. Nowadays, inside of WordPress even, it's a no-brainer. If you want to install a theme or if you want to install a plugin or all kinds of stuff, it's basically automatic. It's so easy. But we're going to talk about some member management issues, processing your subscriptions. Basically, all we want to deal with is how you're going to, potentially you're going to have, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 members, hopefully fairly quickly. And you got to deal with a lot of stuff. You got to deal with cancellations. You got to deal with updating credit card details. You got to deal with people having access and support and all this kind of stuff. And you want to be able, to do that as simply as you can. Then we're going to talk about what a CMS is, site layout and how you should structure things, a fast, easy, and professional website, how to get that. And I'm going to give you some tips, again, what I use. And even even though I've set up lots and lots of membership sites, I've got it pretty much fine-tuned to something that's really simple but still has professional results and works fantastic. Getting paid, we're going to talk about how you can take solutions that are out there for that. And a step-by-step, which is actually the most technical phase. I'm not actually going to demonstrate it again, but because there's tutorials for everything. But that's where you are going to probably learn a lot, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Seriously, don't get discouraged, though. If you're not very technical, it's not going to be hard. And if you are a little bit technical, I think you're probably actually going to like it. So, platform options. Where could we go as far as getting our membership site up? MemberGate is probably the Cadillac of membership websites, and it's consequently also very expensive. It's a fully integrated, totally turnkey solution. They actually host everything. They do it all. You have very little that you have to work with as far as technical stuff, getting things to work. They're going to handle it all. It's very high-end, very robust. It's got a built-in CMS, which stands for Content Management System. They have great support. But again, it is very expensive. Wish list products. This is a plugin for WordPress. It's a very simple and extremely reliable solution. Integrates with a lot of payment processors, which is a nice, convenient feature. And it also is beneficial for the fact that it's self-hosted. In other words, you put it on your server. You do with it what you want. Once you learn how to use it, it's actually very straightforward, and I recommend going with that route. It's what I actually do myself. One-time payment. With MemberGate, you're going to pay monthly. With Wishlist products, like I said, you just pay it once, and that's it. You own it. You can even, I think they have, you can buy some kind of, for a couple $100 extra, you get a license to use it on as many websites as you want. So you can set it up, pay once and put it on as many membership sites as you like. Very nice. A member. This is a script that installs on your server. Again, very reliable. I think it's $140 maybe right now. They have some kind of promotion with sometimes they do something where there's a free installation and sometimes you pay. I don't know, but whatever they got going on right now, just check it out. But what that gives you is integration with other payment solutions and billing. Most of the plugins you have to pay for. They do have really good support. It's a one-time charge as well. It is, though, for one site. So you pay one time and you get a license for that one site. As I mentioned, my preference is Wishlist products. Not only because of the fact that if you get the license that gives you unlimited, you can put it on as many membership sites as you want, but I like the flexibility of it, and I really like the way that it works. It's actually very simple and robust. I have used a member as well. I don't mind that. It works pretty good. I find the integration with WordPress is much better with Wishlist products. because it's geared as a plugin for WordPress. Okay, so it's made to work with it. And hiding stuff, it gives you a lot of flexibility with hiding stuff for different levels of membership access. For example, I could write a blog post, and I could have my silver members be able to read the blog post, but the gold members can't read the blog post. It doesn't even show up for them. That kind of flexibility, and vice versa. So that's why I like it. Plus, it's not hard to install and very easy to use. So CMS, what is CMS? Stands for Content Management System. Some examples are just blogs. WordPress, Blogger, Drupal, Joomla even is one. All of those different platforms, and you can try all of them if you want to. I've basically tried all of them. I've done Drupal, I've done Joomla, I've done Blogger. I even have some Blogger blogs still because I use them for generating traffic. But WordPress is my blog platform of preference. It's easy to create, edit, and manage all of your content without having to know all that complicated technical HTML and FTP mumbo jumbo. You just go in and you start typing. You use a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. You use it just like a word processor. You type stuff. You can make it bold. You can make it bigger. You can format things, justify left and right, all that kind of stuff. You use it just like a word processor. So you don't have to deal with how it looks, right? You just concentrate on making the content. Because it's template-based, it's easy to change the site look, and it's easy to make your website look really nice. There are tons of templates for WordPress, for example. There's free ones and there's ones that you buy. You simply install a template, and it changes the whole format and look of your website in an instant. And if you wanted to update things and make it look different, totally easy to do. You go get another template, you pop it in there. You don't have to worry about any of your content. It just changes the whole look of the site. Very, very nice. So what are our options? I'm recommending WordPress. You go to wordpress.org. It's free. It's easy to update the content, like I said before. It's even easy to install WordPress and update it. It can be customized. There's tons of programmers out there that totally know how to do, all kinds of programming stuff in WordPress. It's open source, so all the stuff is in there, all the code for it. They can make it do exactly what you want it to do. There are lots of widgets and plugins available. Widgets are little tiny applications that'll work on the WordPress site. And plugins are usually more robust. They do stuff maybe in the background to make the site work better. Support for static pages. So you can have your WordPress blog be like a regular website. It doesn't have to look like a blog. It can look just like a website, but WordPress is managing all of the pages that are there. Matty Blaze Hosting, one-click installation of your WordPress blog. So if if you don't have a hosting account, you get a hosting account. Inside your cPanel, you click a button, you got an instant website. Membership site layout samples. Think about your primary offers. What do you want them to see right away? And then if you can't find any membership site samples, all you got to do is go to Google, do a search for Powered by Wishlist Member. What you will see is Google actually will find all these sites that have Wishlist installed. What happens then? You go in, you check it out, you see how they're laying everything out. And if there's something that is convenient, if there's something that strikes you as being annoying, you can obviously eliminate that. You can include things, you can get good ideas for laying things out. But with the primary offer, like what are they really, really buying when they sign up? You want to make sure that they see that right away. That's why I say when they join, if you've got core content that gives them all the beginner elements, if you know that your target audience mainly is beginners, then when they join, you want them to be dropped right there so that they can find that very quick and easy. Otherwise, they're just going to be like, this is too difficult, and they're going to unsubscribe, right? They're going to cancel. So think about what it is that they're really buying and make that available to them right away. Now, getting paid, this is probably one of my favorite topics here. Do you want to do the accounting for 1,000 people? Probably not. Listen to me. I'm about to tell you the solution that I use, and I'm going to say with that solution, this can still be difficult, and that solution takes care of a whole lot of hassle that I would have if I didn't use it. And that solution is simply ClickBank. You can go to ClickBank and you can set up a recurring product, and that'll be essentially your membership site. They will take care of all the payment processing. It's easy to get it set up and implemented, especially if you use Wishlist. It will, it integrates right with ClickBank, and it's easy to do affiliate tracking and payments. And I totally advocate using affiliates and giving them a healthy, give them 50% easily, because these are going to be people that are going out there working for you, getting you new members every single month, and that's how your membership is going to grow. Again, leverage is what it's all about. So instead of you going out there having to do all the work, it'd be better if you had 10 or 20 people out there getting you subscribers. And yeah, they get 50% of the cut, but it's a lot more beneficial to you in the long run. Some people don't like ClickBank because the customer can go in there and just cancel or refund, at whim, and ClickBank will take care of that. But I have found, do your very best, and it's not going to be, give them the content that they really want. You will have people that are just jerks, and they go and they cancel on you or something, or they refund and they stole all your content. But by far, that's not going to be the majority of people, and just, consider it cost of doing business. What does it take to set up all of this stuff? Let's say I'm going to try to do this over the weekend. Well, WordPress is free, so you're going to go to WordPress.org. You're going to download it, no cost there. Wishlist Member, the script that I have recommended, $97 for the single license, and I think it's $297 for the unlimited one. I'm not positive, but I will tell you this: if you have potential at all, any interest in setting up multiple membership sites, buy the unlimited license. Buy that first, because you get it cheaper when they first refer it to you. It's cheaper than if you were to upgrade later. You still pay a little bit more if you upgrade later on. So in other words, if you decide I'm just going to get the single one, and then later on you're like, I really like this, I'm going to set up some more membership sites, upgrade me to the unlimited license, it will cost you more. Just be aware. ClickBank submission, I think, is $50 still, but that's going to just be, you got to get your product in there so that they can process everything, and it's well worth the investment. Plus, you get your product out in front of all these affiliates. So that membership site, people could pick it up and start promoting it that you don't even know anything about them, and they're not members. Hosting, $79 a year, and that includes a domain. I think they do have a monthly charge as well. That's like $8 or something like that if you want to just go monthly. All right, here is your tactical plan. I'm going to do my best to wrap everything up right now in this video, but we've got, I think, about 4 more slides. Your tactical plan: get your content together, set up and test everything on the site. You want to make sure it's all working, including signups and all that kind of stuff. And ClickBank facilitates that very, very nicely, because you can get the product in there. It won't be active, right? It'll be in test mode, but you can get it in there, and you can actually get your links already set up so that you can click. It'll do like a test transaction. It won't charge your actual card, and you'll see the whole process start to finish and make sure that it works good for you. Once the site is set up and tested, focus 100% on building your membership. In other words, whatever kind of traffic methods you're going to use, or JV relationships or whatever. Reinvest your income for the first month in getting better content, new and fresh, more content created, and also possibly consider doing some advertising. No full-blown updates until month number 3. You want to get enough people in there and enough usage, enough familiarity that, number one, at 3 months, you know that it's working, right? You can see that the membership is growing, but then also you want to get some feedback before you make any big changes to the membership area. Acquire a staffed expert to create the content and moderate the membership site after the second month. And I would say after the second month is completed. You want to just, that person maybe that you've been hiring for writing some articles, see if they will do come up with some. You'll know at that point how much you can afford because of how many members you've got and how it seems to be growing. But see if there's something that you can work out with them where they're just working that thing for you every single month. Even if, let's say, you were making $5,000 a month on that site, which is not real hard to do, right? If they're paying $10 and you got 500 members, there you go. But even if they're going to make a little bit more than you at that point, I mean, still, it's worth it because you're not going to do anything. You've got it all set up, and now you're basically going to let them create the content and interact with all the people. You're just going to kind of be a manager. But if they want, $2,000 a month in order to do that, then I would say it's a good deal. Just because even if they wanted $3,000 a month to do it, it still might be beneficial to you because you're going to probably you're going to set this up, and as it grows, there's going to be other things that you're going to do with it. If you're the expert, fine, and you want to do that, that's fine. You keep all the money. But what I'm kind of thinking of here is, if you want to grow, if you want to set up another membership site doing something else, and then you're kind of managing all these membership sites, eventually, after just a couple of them, you're going to be making more than everybody. Trust me. Outsource as much as you can and enjoy the reward of your hard work of getting all this set up, doing all of the research, and then sit back and just, enjoy the benefits. That's basically the process. Here's a step-by-step, the technical things that you're actually going to want to do for the most part. Register your domain. You got to get your hosting set up. Install WordPress. Change your WordPress theme, and for the first time I'm mentioning themes to you. WordPress by itself is going to look pretty lame. It's going to look very lame because it just comes with a very basic template. For usability and the general look of it, I recommend WP Theme Thesis. And the Thesis theme is really, really nice. It's robust. I use it for all my membership sites now just because the look of it and the way it interacts and the way it works, totally nice. Install Wishlist Member, okay, which is the script for the actual membership site. And I will mention here real briefly, WordPress has some facilities for blocking sites, blocking pages based on your password or whatever. You don't want to fool with that stuff. It's really a big hassle. It doesn't take into account all the stuff that we want to do as an actual membership management. That's what Wishlist does, is it is the management of those members. And it allows us to control access as well. Add content. So after we've got WordPress installed, we've got our own website up online, got WordPress installed, got the theme looking slick, got the membership script installed, and then we're going to dump in the content. Configure your membership levels. Maybe you want certain members, silver level to access certain content, whatever. Configure all that stuff, and then you go in and you protect the content. So the way that it works, and again, I'm not doing tutorials for this because all these products have the tutorials already. But the way that it works is you install the Wishlist member, you set up your membership levels. Then you go into your content, and each page you would say, block this content, protect this content, actually is the terminology. And then you grant access to specific levels. You check off what levels you want to have access to. One really nice thing that I like about Wishlist, and this is the big canon that I didn't tell you about yet. Wishlist has a facility to do what is called dripped content, like sequenced content. And what you can do is you can have your whole entire membership site with a whole year's worth of content. But whenever somebody signs up today, they get access to a certain amount of that content. Then 30 days later, whatever you specify, you can do 15 days, 20 days, doesn't matter, whatever you set. let's say the next month, they get access to another batch of content automatically. You don't do anything about it. So you have the whole year laid out where after they, and it actually moves them to another level automatically. So they sign up, they get access to the content. A month later, they get bumped up to another level, and they get access to new content. 30 days later, they get access to new content, 30 days later, and it's billing them the whole time, right? And giving them access, and it's all done automatically. The way this is set up, if you do it through ClickBank, and I might add that at this point, after you protect the content, you would then submit your product to ClickBank, do all the stuff for approval there. But the way it's set up, if you work it that way, is if they go to ClickBank and they cancel, their membership cancels. It's automatic. If they do a refund, their membership cancels. All right, now we're going to step things up a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about, well, I said I was going to do one. This is going to be the last video, but I tell you what, let's take a quick break. Think about the stuff that we just talked about, okay? And then in the next and last video, this I really promise this is going to be the last one, we're going to talk about some of the ways to grow your membership site. A good market. A good market has desperate, impulsive buyers, people that want to buy right now. The reason that I mentioned this is because there are a lot of hot markets out there that are hot because there's a lot of people interested in it, but they're not buyers. There are markets where people do a lot of research, markets where like I said, a lot of interest, where people are maybe even wanting to participate in a discussion group or something. But they're not impulsive buyers. What we want is, ideally, setting up a membership site is a crowd of people that have that desperate, I got to have this now. I need a solution, like right now. And that's just for a good market. We're not even talking about a great market yet. Other advertising outlets besides just pay-per-click. So, in other words, lots of other opportunities where we could advertise, like banners or something on a website that gets a lot of traffic. And that kind of setup, we're looking at paying for like 1,000 impressions or something like that. Fulfillment as an information-only product, that's kind of a no-brainer. With a good market, we need to be able to service our customers with an information-only product, not something physical that we absolutely have to ship out, not something that we have to buy and then resell. We want that the information, because the cost of reproduction of information is basically nothing. So when you can sell something over and over again and there is no cost to production, that's a win situation for us. Proven internet buyers, just people that are willing to pay money over the internet and to purchase what it is that you're selling. There are some situations that people are there's actually some niches where people just don't like to buy online. They prefer doing it in person or even over the phone, and that's not what we want. We want them right there to click the button, make the purchase, and all of that stuff be handled automatically. Now, this is a good market. When we find, we're discovering what niche we're going to get into with our membership site, and these criteria are for what I would call just a mediocre market, really. It is a good market, but for if there was something I absolutely loved, and it fit these 4 things, I could go ahead and do it just because I happen to love that niche and I want to get involved in it, and I'll probably still make good money at it. But first time through this, folks, we want to make buku bucks so that we've got a nice cushion of residual income coming in. So we're looking for a great market. Now, let me show you what a great market has. A need for ongoing support. Ideally, with we don't want a one-off wonder, right? Where the ebook that they get, or maybe even a series of 4 or 5 ebooks, is going to give them everything that they need to know. That's not what we want. We want something where there is a continual need for them to come and maybe learn more, or there's a service that they continually need, maybe updates, things like that, ongoing support, so that when they sign up, they're going to go through, and month after month, they're going to get a new additional benefit from us every single month. That way, we got some retention, right? For a good market, what we looked at previously, there might be an information product that I'm looking to create and sell, and that would be fine if I'm selling it as they pay one fee and I deliver that product to them. That's great. Good market is fine. But for a membership site, we want these criteria here because it's going to fit in with our model much better. No seasonal demand. That means it's evergreen. You definitely don't want to touch something that has to do with Christmas or Easter or winter or summer. Because what happens? Well, you kick up a whole bunch of customers in the summer, and then as fall comes in, your membership starts trickling down, and then it gets lower and lower, and by the time you're through winter, there ain't nobody there hanging out no more, and your momentum is totally lost. So it's gonna good luck trying to get back up come spring and summer. You want something that is not contingent upon any kind of holidays or seasonal stuff. It needs to have a membership appeal. So in other words, some type of connection where people can feel that they are a part of something. And that's really, it's not that difficult to create that. It's kind of like, National Association of Photoshop Professionals. I love Photoshop, right? Just being a member of NAP, it has this appeal because there are a lot of little perks that you get. And being a Photoshop person, just within that arena, there's something that comes along with that. You just want to do the same thing. But again, it's so easy to do. Hunting clubs, radio control airplane clubs, that kind of thing where there's like, I'm a member. You know what I mean? The yacht club, of course. Racquetball, all these things. I mentioned everything that I like. But any kind of membership appeal like that, you want to grab a hold of it because you're actually going to manipulate that. You're going to use that as a tool to keep people, your members, for a longer period of time. You use that membership appeal to make them hold on to their membership. And a great market has exactly what it takes to succeed. Bottom line, right there. These additional things that I have mentioned on top of a good market are what we need to make sure that our membership site is going to succeed. So we're looking for the qualifications of a great market. Now we're going to talk about the two markets, and this is kind of like a different, I'm not talking about the good and the great market. I'm talking about the two types of markets within a great market. Okay. First, we have consumer markets. Diets, cleanses, the healthcare, finance, hobbies, that kind of stuff. With those, this is the things that, the consumer is going to utilize. We've got a lower typical value because a lot of this stuff is just, for fun. It's for hobbies and stuff I'm talking about, and things that people just like to get into as, as something personal. For that reason, lower typical customer value, $10 to $30 a month is what you're going to be able to charge for those kinds of memberships. Now, huge potential customer base because we're going to be able to reach, like everybody is going to be interested in something. So if we set up a membership site, it's going to appeal to a lot of people. And I do mean a whole lot of people. And especially you can find some membership sites, some niches. I'm not going to give away any secrets right now, but you can find some niches that will literally appeal to, just about everybody. The other type of market is a business or trade market. Here we're talking about basically making money. We're talking about advancing in your career or, being a better real estate agent, being a better internet marketer, learning how to trade on the Forex more effectively, learning how to be an internet marketer, learning beginner stuff. You can definitely do beginner stuff, because you got people that don't know how to do anything online. They want to learn how to do something online, or it doesn't have to be an online deal. It can be learning how to do anything, but it's career improvement. Higher typical cost to the customer, because we're talking about making more money. Anytime you make a career advancement, you got to pay more because you're going to make more. So here we're looking at $30 to $100 a month typical membership fees for sites that have to do with making more money. You can market high ticket items, expensive stuff, because when you're dealing with people that are talking about business, they're willing to pay more money, right? So if you've got, as a businessman, if somebody said they had a $1,000 product for me to buy that was going to make me an extra $1,000 the first month, and then after that it was going to continue to make me $1,000 extra or save me $1,000 every month or whatever, I'm going to say, okay, $1,000, no problem, because it's going to make me the money back. As a businessman, I'm willing to invest. So we can take those high dollar items and market to the people in our membership site and make healthy commissions off of that. Not as many potential customers, because it's business, right? It's people. Most people. The fact is, most people like to just goof off or whatever. They're not really motivated to be an entrepreneur. You right now listening to me, you're in the minority. That's just a fact, because most people, what a lot of people like to do, they all say they want to make money, they want to have their own business, but what they mean, let me translate for you. What they mean is, I would like a turnkey solution that has zero effort and I make 10 grand a month. That's what they really mean. So since they're not really motivated to do what it takes to really create a business, that's the majority of people. So you are in a minority. Congratulations. That means, though, that you have fewer potential customers. You're going to make more per customer, but there are not as many of them out there. You will get better conversions, though, because, again, it's not a hobby, or it's not a, I'd like to this or that. It's business. It has to do with making money. There are two things. It's actually a phrase that these two things, it's not that I'm going to tell you to get into the how to make money niche or the diet niche, okay? But get the spirit of what this says. You can never be too rich or too thin. Now, all that this is really saying is that there are a couple of things that there's no end to. And if you can help somebody to do these things better, then that niche is going to be a successful niche for a membership site, because you're going to help, you're going to appeal to so many people, and it's going to be like an ongoing thing. If you did set up a how to make money membership site and you could actually help people to do it, then they sign up, they're a member, they start making a little bit more money. You start putting together some other training for them. They're going to continue to get advice from you and to, just constantly be improving upon that. What we're going to do in the next video is start actually looking at how you can weed through all of the opportunities out there, all the potential, and select your target market for your very first membership site. What we're going to talk about here is ways to help get your list to explode. Not actually explode, but get your membership subscriber list to just really take off. And a couple of things that you can do really that are exponentially beneficial. Let affiliates give away trial offers. This is something that's real nice that you can do inside of ClickBank and the membership script. But you can even pay people, pay them $1, pay them $5 for a trial subscription if they'll get people to sign up. And in the long term, that'll work out really good for you. But really, it's a nice thing if you a lot of affiliates, if you just tell them, maybe in their products, they can feature a free 30-day trial to your membership as a bonus. And that's something that's really, it's beneficial to you and them. You get subscribers, and then it's your job, to keep them, and then they get something additional of value that they can offer to their either their subscribers or their people that purchase their products. Here's what happens. Somebody goes and buys a product in a certain niche, and then they get access, a free subscription to your offer. So they go there, they sign up, they use whatever coupon or something to get subscribed, and then the next month they're going to be billed automatically. So if they hang out, they're going to get billed. Okay. After 30 days, they get automatically billed if they don't cancel, and then you, actually, the affiliate, is going to get paid from the first month's billing. So you actually don't get paid until day 60, until they hang out for the third month. That is just one model. You don't have to do it this way. In fact, what I do, which I have had a lot of success with, is I pay affiliates on a recurring basis. So they will get, and yeah, it means they get paid a lot. But they really, the affiliates love that. And that gives them more incentive to go out and really hustle to get people to subscribe. But you can work out an arrangement where you're just going to give them 100% of the money for the first paid month. So they promote your free giveaway, and the people stay, and then at the end of the 30 days they get billed again. The affiliate gets that money, and then at the 60th day you're going to get your money. And if you've done your job and your retention's good, it's a win-win situation for everybody. Here we're talking about swapping offers. You can provide a reciprocal offer with another membership site, where you sign up people, you offer a free month to my subscription, and I'll offer a free month to yours. And if it's something that's complementary, it'll benefit the members. It's not just the same kind of stuff, but it's complementary, maybe a different twist. Your website handles something a little bit different than theirs does. Then that's a win-win situation for everybody, because the customer gets access to something that it will be beneficial to them that they wouldn't normally have, and you get additional members and they get additional members. So it's kind of like a cross promotion. When someone signs up for your offer, you give them a free 30-day trial to another membership site. That's another excellent solution, and you have that thing working out for them as well. So when someone signs up for their membership site, they give a free 30-day trial to your membership site. Okay, so they do the same for you. It's like a back and forth thing. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And listen, I want to mention, today in internet marketing, folks, we got to take care of each other. It's not just all let's beat out everybody and be the best internet marketer. There's some real serious stuff going on in the industry, really, that encompasses all of us, and we got to pull together. And you see this in a lot of industries. Once they mature, the big players realize that if they don't work together, they're going to just kill each other. And that's what we don't want to do. We want to learn to band together and work on this in something that's going to be a mutually profitable solution for all of us. Let's take a look at how the list grows and what you can expect, so I don't want you to get discouraged. With one affiliate working for you, let's say that they get you 2 signups a day. One's going to quit, and then after 30 days, you would have 30 members because half of those quit. Now, that is a ridiculous number. Okay, I have not found that to be the case with my membership sites. But, and in fact, in the first 30 days, I'm looking at maybe a 3% dropout. Okay, but let's say that happens on a consistent basis. With 10 affiliates, what's going to happen? 20 new signups a day, 10 quit. After 30 days, I got 300 members. After 60 days, I'm going to have 600 members. Let me do something for you here. This is the power of membership sites. After 60 days, 600 members times, let's do $30. $18,000, folks. And even if you had to split that, let's divide it by 2. Let's say that you have to split that with your affiliate, so you only get half of it. That's $9,000. I want to be very fair and not, present to you some that doesn't have the hidden stuff revealed, right? $9,000. I just launched a membership site, if I could say it correctly, that has 400 members, and I charge $47 a month. In 2 weeks, I got those 400 members. So what do you think about that? I mean, it's a real deal. And that's with, granted, this is with, I would say, 75% of those 400 are affiliates sent those. Okay? And the other 25% are, I get the full membership dues because I sent those myself. Okay? Now, that's where this is going. The number of members that you get, you will reach a point that it's like, okay, I'm ready to quit my day job. And it's not that many members, really. If, let's say 300 members times 30, that's $9,000. I know people right now that would love to be making $9,000 a month. And that's at 300 members. That's not, cut it in half, and that's 150 members, $4,500 a month. You know, there's a lot of people that would love to make $4,500 a month. I mean, right now, think about this. What would it take if you're, because I realize I'm dealing with a lot of different people. There are some people that are good internet marketers and they just never done a membership site, and they might be interested in this course, right? There are some people that are beginners and they've never done anything online. If that is you, think about what it would take for you to quit your job. Okay, how much money would you want to be able to quit your job and still be comfortable and making the same or better money and doing what you want to do and working from home? Okay, if that's $4,000, sorry. If that's $4,000, which a lot of people, aren't even making that much money, divide it by, whatever, how much you want to charge. What is it worth? If it's worth $25, then that's how many members you got to have every month, 160, and it's going to be growing. 160 members is nothing. I mean, you can do a pay-per-click campaign and get that in a weekend probably. That's not very difficult to do at all. So this is where it's at. Membership sites charging residual, recurring every month, and then you provide new content for them. You spend your month, managing. Maybe, like, typically what I do is I'll spend some time in the morning going through the administrative stuff. I'll have somebody maybe taking care of technical support. I outsource that. I don't deal with it myself. And I can focus on creating content. I can focus on playing racquetball and going flying in my new airplane. That's what I love. So that's it. Thanks so much for joining me. I sincerely hope that, like I said, if I can help one person quit their job and set one of these sites up, then I'll feel like I did my job. Content is king. We hear that all the time, don't we? If you've been online for any length of time in the internet marketing arena, you've heard that phrase, content is king. What does that mean? It means that really what you have to share is more important even than how you share it. For example, the quality of your videos, the presentation is not as important, not saying that it's not, okay, but it's not as important as the actual content of what you have and the quantity of content that you have. In other words, having a lot of good quality content that's going to be what puts you at the top, both search engines and as far as making customers happy. Now that applies to any website. It also applies to a membership site. Having a lot of content is extremely important, and you want to get that content fast. In other words, I set up my membership site this weekend. I want to get a ton of content in there before I, start marketing it. I want so much stuff. Whenever a new person comes in, I want there to be so much stuff that it's almost like they're overwhelmed. Now, I don't want to make it difficult for them to find what they want, but I want there to be a lot of stuff there. The reason for that is that one of the things that is going to keep them is the fact that they've got this storehouse of information that they haven't been able to go through, and it's going to be that, one of those, like someday I'm gonna be able to get through this. Someday I'm going to look at this book and that book and watch these videos. Someday. You keep that going by having a whole lot of content for them to go through where they can't possibly keep up with it. Now, in order to get that, especially initially here, you might have to change your thinking a little bit. More than likely, you're going to be having the mentality that you've got to actually create all the content. Or maybe you're setting all this stuff up and you're thinking, I've got to do all of the work because I can't afford to hire somebody else. But that is actually not the case. It is going to be more beneficial to you to change that thinking and maximize or leverage the efforts of other people in order to get the results that you're looking for. Successful people, wealthy people, are successful and wealthy because they have learned how to leverage other people's efforts and make money from it. You magnify things whenever you do that. I might be able, let me give you a perfect example. When I first started out, I actually started out as a trainer for software applications. Okay, before I ever got into internet marketing, I did training for software applications. Now, I would charge a certain rate to do a training for clients, and that rate was contingent on how much content was delivered. Right? Pretty simple to understand there. It didn't take me long to figure out that what I was really getting paid for was creating the content, because there was knowledge that I had, for example, using Microsoft Excel or Photoshop, something like that. Okay, there was knowledge that I had, and that's what my clients really wanted, and that's what they were paying me for. And it didn't take me long to figure out that the money that I was making was because of the content that I was making. So, it sounds pretty simple, right? Self-explanatory. But I didn't want to pay somebody to edit my videos. I did all of that myself. So I recorded the videos, and then I would go back and edit it. And let me tell you something. To get an hour's worth of training in Photoshop, it might take 6, 7, 8 hours by the time you research what you're going to do, put together, a project, and go in and record it, and then go back and edit it again, and then render it in the final video format. So you could be dealing with easily 8 hours of involvement there to get that 1 hour of video. Now, what was my specific skill required for? Just that 1 hour of video. It may be a little bit of planning beforehand before I start recording. However, I thought, I'm losing money if I pay somebody to edit for me. But guess what I found out? I found out that I could take a couple of hours and do a recording and pass that video off to somebody else to edit it for me. I could go back and I could record another 2 hours, and I could pass that off for them to edit. And I could go back and I could record another 2 hours. So in one day, what previously was taking me all day long to get 1 hour done, I was getting 3 or 4 hours done in that one day. What did that do to my income? I think you can do the math. The same thing is going to apply here. Don't get in your mind that you have got to do all of this stuff first. And don't get in your mind that spending money is a bad thing. I know it's going to be tough. The economy is pretty rough right now. but it's not that expensive, and it will save you so much time, and you will have the benefits from it is incredible. So the two game plans that we're going to talk about would be you trying to set everything up yourself, or you doing a little bit of outsourcing. And I am going to totally lean towards doing some outsourcing. And not only outsourcing, but there are some other types of content that you can get a hold of that you can actually go out there and purchase and have instant content. That's one thing I did for one of my membership sites. I needed some content for it, and I was able to go out and for like $27 buy thousands of articles. They weren't all pertinent to my specific membership site, but most of them were, and I could put them in there, and they are content for my members to digest. You know, if you're in a membership site and you sign up today, and there's like half a dozen ebooks in there, and you're trying to go through them, and then all of a sudden tomorrow you sign in, and then there's like 200 ebooks to go through. All of a sudden you're going to be like, whoa, information overload. And by the end of the month, you're going to be, I got to renew because there's so much more stuff in there that I haven't had a chance to go through. And you're going to have this feeling like I lose it if I don't continue my membership. So that's another thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what's a guru and what's a ghostwriter. A guru, I'll just give you a brief synopsis here. A guru is somebody who really knows what they're talking about. A ghostwriter is somebody who is a professional author who you pay to essentially do research and then create content. And I'm going to show you why going with the guru is actually better for you long term. Then we're going to talk about some secrets to obtain and retain your members. All right, website, membership site, actually, options here. Let's talk about some things. We could do a subscription service. This is like the recipe of the month or investment alerts, for Forex or stock trading or private label rights. Every single month they're going to pay, and they are going to get something new, some new content that's just for them. Commercial tools, things like Aweber, ad tracking tools, hits counters, simple things like that. Even there's been a rash of some websites that do the URL shortening, that kind of thing. That's essentially a commercial tool that is a membership site. You can pay a fee, like with Aweber. You pay a certain fee every single month, and you have access to their autoresponder and all the tools that they've created on their website. So that is an option for us. Content-based. This is kind of the model that I'm focusing on, where we create something where the members want to come and interact. We create a community. It's more than just about reading the ebooks. It's more than just about watching videos. It's by interaction. Some people I've seen set up a membership site where the membership site is just content. And while that could work, what works better is if you have the content and you build a community by having maybe a forum that goes along with the membership site. So people can go in there, they can interact with one another, they can talk about the content, how they have used it. They build up community, and that is a lot for retention, because if I'm on this forum and I've been here for 4 or 5 months and now I've got like 1,500 posts, I'm interacting with the community, I probably don't want to lose that standing. Right? And you can even, when we talk later on about secrets to obtain and retain your members, there are incentives that you can give to people to, keep them. Maybe for a forum, for example, you give them different levels. After they attain 2,000 posts, they're bumped up to a different level. And once they attain that, they're not going to want to cancel and then, at some future point, start over again. You need to have somewhat of a publisher mentality. Basically, what we're going to do to get the content very quickly is, if possible, buy the content, repurpose, and repackage it. So maybe change the name. If you're not familiar with the term private label rights or master resale rights, I'm going to both tell you about what it is, and then later on I'm going to show you some places that you can go to get that kind of content. But what you're getting is the rights to use something for your own purposes. In fact, you use it as though it is yours. It's not unethical, it's not illegal, nothing like that. You are actually paying for the rights to do that. Just like with with a commercial on the radio, they'll have music and sound effects that they use to make those commercials. You would be surprised, right? There would be, if you go to Walmart and you buy a CD to listen to, it's $10, right? If you buy a CD of what's called royalty-free music, it's $100. It could even be only like 5 songs with like different length versions of each song. But why is it $100? Because you are not only buying what it is, you're buying the rights to use it with your own products and make money with it. Okay, same thing with PLR. You are purchasing the rights to use that content in whatever way you deem best. Now, they've got different rights that they allow, so you do have to read the licensing for it. But what you're essentially wanting, if possible, is master resale rights, or at least private label rights. That mean you can totally rebrand it, change the author's name, change the title of it, and even do a little bit of repurposing. Like we might want to go in there and take 3 or 4 private label rights articles and combine them into an ebook, something like that. Also, consider hiring someone to write the new content. You're obviously going to have to find someone, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next slide here, is hiring somebody, hiring an expert. What we don't want is the freelancer that goes out and essentially does what is called log and blog, where they or blog and log, however you want to look at that. They go out and they do some research. They read what other people are. They might not know anything about that niche. They find out what other people are writing about it, and then they put it into their own words and create a unique article. Now, that is fine for getting traffic with article marketing. That's fine to do. But for your membership site, you got to have some good stuff, and you got to have somebody that knows what they're talking about. So essentially what you would do is when you go to find somebody to get them to write content for you, you find out, number one, if they are involved in that niche and they know about it. You want to make sure that they actually have it as, if you're, for example, if you're a guitar player and you're going to do a guitar membership site, you're going to find somebody that is a guitar player. So yeah, you might write some content for the site, but you're going to find somebody else to write some more content for it. And this is really, this is what magazines do, right? They have a lot of different authors. A lot of those people are freelance authors, but they're related. They know the niche. And that's what you're going to be doing. You're kind of like a publisher. You're going to find somebody that knows the niche, that wants to write about it. You're going to pay them to create content for you. So I'm saying get a guru, not just an average freelancer. Don't just go out there. For example, let's take the Grand Canyon. Okay, this is a great analogy. If somebody took a picture of the Grand Canyon and then they took that picture and they put it in a book, and then you hired somebody off the street to describe the Grand Canyon, and that person went to the store and bought the book, opened it up, looked at the picture, and then wrote an article for you describing the Grand Canyon. Would that be as good of an article as what the photographer could write? Absolutely not, because the photographer was there. They saw the picture cannot capture the Grand Canyon. Everybody knows that. You want somebody who has been there, no matter what it is, somebody that's actually been there and knows what it is that you're talking about. It's two different worlds as far as somebody going out and just reading what other people have written and then putting it together, as opposed to somebody who actually knows what it is that they're doing. This will take a little bit longer, but believe it or not, it's actually a lot of times cheaper, because you can find people, if Johnny over here, Johnny Bowhunter, if he is not a professional writer, then you're talking about his hobby. You're talking about something he loves to do, and you're going to ask him, could you write me, some articles on hunting? He's going to be like, yeah, I get paid to do that. And a lot of times that's the way it's going to end up is to get the content made, it's not going to cost you as much because professional writers, they typically charge a lot. Now, here are some freelance sites: Guru.com, iFreelance.com, Elance, and Rent-A-Coder. These are some of the more common ones, more popular ones. What you do on these sites is you set up an account there, you post a job or a project, and you give a description of what you need done, and then there will be people come in and look at the job, and they will bid on doing that project for you. So you get people competing, and it's really usually more beneficial to the buyer than it is the freelancers, because there's so much competition out there. You can find somebody who's really good at what they're doing and is not very expensive. Now, that doesn't mean that you should go with the cheapest person. That doesn't mean that you don't sometimes pay a little more to get better quality. You do, but you can't just go by price. I've had situations where a more expensive individual gave me worse stuff than a lesser expensive person. So you got to talk with them. But what you're going to do is write in your request in your description. You put there, I want someone who is a bow hunter. Okay? I want someone who's been playing guitar for at least 10 years. Here's what you're going to get. There's a variety of different kinds of people that are on these freelance sites looking for jobs to do. They're freelancers, right? Lots of different people. They've got hobbies. Now, normally, they may be on there to do something technical. Maybe they've got a specific thing that they're on there for, that they do. But, maybe they write articles on coding for websites or something. It could be very technical. But they do have hobbies. And if you can find somebody that is in your target niche and they happen to be there as a freelancer, boy, you just found a great combination, because you found somebody that knows how to do what it is, right, that your niche is all about, but they're also a freelancer and they're there to do work. Great combination. Another thing you can do is go to forums that are already out there that are in your niche and find people who post a lot on those forums. A lot of times you can talk to them about creating some content for you. When you are submitting your proposals at these different membership sites, personal communication is the absolute best way to validate their claims, because you're going to get a lot of people that, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, I can do it for you. You'll have it by tomorrow. And especially overseas, you get a lot of people that they can just, I'll do it now. And I totally know everything about what you're talking about, and I understand. And in reality, they don't. Okay, their initial communication will say that they do, and they'll be super dirt cheap. But if you want to find out if you're going to get any good stuff, you got to actually communicate back and forth with them. Another thing you want to do, you got to be careful with copywriting stuff. People will go out there and they'll bid on your job. You give them, say, I want 5 300-word articles on whatever. They'll go out there and they'll go on the internet, they'll do a search, and they'll find those articles and they'll submit it back. Here you go. Or maybe they've got a database of private label rights articles, and they'll just pull some up and go, here, there you go, pay me now, please. And you got to be careful that you're getting completely original content. So you got to be able to check for, and there's a website I want to try to give you. I'm going to flash it up on the screen right now because I forgot to put it in here. But it's where you can basically paste in content, and it will go all over the internet and search for that content in other places. And I think it's Copyscape or something like that, but I'll have it up here for you. or actually my editor that I'm paying to edit this so that I can create more content, he's going to put it up there for you. What it'll do is it'll check to see if that content is duplicated all over anywhere on the internet, and if it is, then you found yourself someone who is plagiarizing, and you're not going to pay him. But in talking with him, that's the best way that you get a feel for if they really genuinely understand your niche and they use the right lingo or jargon in referring to things. Ask for an outline. This is a great way also to not only get a feel for if they really know what it is that they're going to be writing about, but if you've got 10 people submit a proposal and all 10 of them submit to you an outline, fantastic, because what you can do now is take those 10 outlines and kind of merge them together, combine it, and you're going to get one very comprehensive outline for maybe an ebook that you're having written, or a course that you're going to create or whatever. Set deadlines and milestones. If you don't do those with these people, then a lot of times they'll just drag their feet and it's not going to get done. And especially it's not going to get done very quickly. So just don't be unrealistic. It's not like you're being a slave master. If you ask them how long will it take for you to get this done? If they say 3 days, add an extra day in there. Honestly, I would add like 25% to whatever they tell you, just to give them some more time. So anyhow, that's it. And then stick to it. Like if it's a big project, you set milestones and they get a little bit of money as the whole project goes. A lot of times what you're going to see, though, is if it's just like write 5 articles, it might be $50 for all 5 of them, and they're just going to get paid when it's done. With these sites, just to give you a word of caution, if you're not familiar with how this stuff goes, don't ever pay anybody up front, okay? Most of the sites do what's called an escrow, and if, let's say you say the job's $200, okay, and you pick somebody, they're going to do it, you will put that $200 in an escrow account, and then they'll do the work. Once they submit it to you and you approve it, you have to say, yes, this is what I wanted, then they get the money. So it's win-win for both of you. You can't rip them off, and they can't rip you off, because the website itself has the money in escrow. If you were to go to a forum and find somebody to do the work for, there has to be a little bit of an element of trust there, but what I have found typical out there is a 50-50. So you'll give them 50% deposit to get started, and once they deliver the goods, you give them the balance. Here's some other places that you can get some really, really good quality stuff done. Book authors. A lot of people think book authors are untouchable. Really, they're not. In fact, a lot of them would really appreciate the work. And you would be surprised. They like the credibility too. So especially if you can let them go ahead and use their own name, in an article that they write. It doesn't have to have any contact information, because you own, right? You own the article. But if you let them use their name in there, they'd really like that. They get the credibility, and it's just another paying gig for them. Even if you think, well, they've got a published book, that doesn't mean they're making squat from that. They could be making $30,000 a year off of that book, and they like the extra work. Magazine article writers, same thing there. These people are usually freelancers anyway. So if there is a magazine in your niche, don't be embarrassed to approach a writer in that magazine to have an article written for you. You'd be surprised how much you have to pay for stuff like that. And I already mentioned the blogs, or forums at least, and also blogs, same kind of thing. People that frequent those a lot. If you find somebody who has a lot of posts or makes a lot of comments on blogs, it's somebody who really cares about the niche and they're active. That's an excellent candidate for this kind of thing. Putting your content together. We have to think about some things. Where will the content go? How will you deliver the content? And in doing this, we're going to get a little bit technical and kind of come up with some ideas. We're going to start that in the next video. The format that we want to pick for the delivery of the content, how it's going to be delivered, and then we're actually going to get into a little bit of technical stuff in the background for at least my recommendation of the way that I do things.